I'm gonna punch it right here a little bit. What's up guys, welcome back to Car Studio, and in today's video we are going to start working on the ML55 AMG you saw in my last video. Link will be in the description, but basically I bought the cheapest ML55 AMG most likely in the world. 500 bucks. It does run and drive. It needed a transfer case motor, and after crawling underneath of it I noticed it didn't have one at all, but the seller did provide me with one, a used one. And these are only like 60 bucks on eBay for a new one, but I would rather have a used OEM part than an aftermarket one. So we are going to pull it inside the garage and climb underneath of it, and hopefully the bolts are down there for it. But wishful thinking, right? So I've got the key. Now, this car has been parked since Saturday. It's now Monday, which isn't very long, but I'm assuming the battery is going to be dead. It did take a full charge, but if this thing doesn't have a battery draw, I'd be very, very surprised. Also, what I did Saturday was just clean it up some. I pressure washed the whole thing, got all that green and crud off of it, and it looks a lot better. Also, this piece was missing off the grill. I found it inside the car. I installed that. This headlight trim was missing. It was in the car, thankfully. I was able to install that. Needs tightened down a little bit, but it's on there. And yeah, it cleaned up really well. The calipers, I was really surprised. They look, you can tell where they're faded still, where I missed pressure washing it, but they did shine up a little bit. But overall, this thing cleaned up really well. If we get it to where the transmission shifts like it's supposed to, then we can tackle the body work, start fixing these cracks in the bumper. I'm going to show you guys how to do that with panel bond and just random pieces of plastic, and you know, address all the various rust spots. So far it all looks like surface rust, but let's see if we can get this thing started up and pulled into the garage. Wow, impressed. The battery stayed charged after a couple days. This thing's set for I don't know how long, probably a year or two in a field, and the battery was still good. It charged up the first try, so I'm still astonished the windows work. All right, let's pull this in the garage. All right, we got it jacked up and in the garage. Alright, this thing looks very easy to install. It's just 3 bolts on the side there, and then it looks like there's like one other bracket. Of course, the hardware is not here, but I have an assortment of metric bolts. Hopefully one of those fit. Alright, so I went to the hardware store and I got these. I wanted a hex head, but all they have were Phillips, but for now, at least, it'll get this thing bolted up. I'm also not going to Permatex it before anyone gets in the comments, because I'm just seeing if it works first. All right, got that hooked up. Alright, went ahead and cleared the codes, and we're going to take it for a little drive, see if that fixed it. This thing runs kind of rough till it's warmed up. but it does have old gas in it, not very much of it. All right, let's see if we can get out of second gear. Oh my God, it shifted. Wow, I think we fixed it, guys. All right, I felt a first to second shift. Let's go get it up to speed a little bit. Oh, there it is, it shifted again. I just felt third gear too. Wow, fixed it for free. We are shifting gears. Oh, there's fourth. $500 ML55 AMG, and it runs and drives. Now we just got to work on the body of this thing. 3 bolts and 1 plug. Who would have thought? It's shifting so good. Ooh, we don't want to go that way. We got a fire truck. A bunch of them, actually. Man, I want to get on this thing and see what it feels like, but there's like no gas in it at all. Look at those revs go up. Oh, shift. And there's another one. How awesome is that, guys? 500 bucks and fixed for free. I'm like a kid in a candy store right now. We have a ton of dash lights that I might have to figure out. One of the codes was for a right rear wheel sensor. So got to replace that, and hopefully that'll turn off everything. It's not gonna turn off the airbag, but it might turn off the others. All right, guys, so in the first video, I know that I had this thing parked in the field and I did a walk around, and to wrap the video up, I said, leave in the comments what I should do with this thing. Should I daily drive it? Should I fix it up and flip it? Should I put some mud tires on and beat on it? I really had no plans for it because I bought it sight unseen and just bought it because it was cheap and it's a cool car. But after pulling it in the garage and looking it over and working on it a little bit and cleaning it up, I've actually kind of fell in love with it. Maybe love is a stretch, but I do have a place in my heart for Mercedes, and especially somewhat special one like the ML55 AMG. So with that said, I think at this point I am going to tackle the bodywork now and the couple little bits of the interior that need replaced and put a nice stereo in it and just daily drive this thing. Like I said, it cleaned up pretty good besides rust, and that's something that I'm going to be addressing. The engine bay cleaned up excellent. I'll show you here in just a second. And you know, like I said, everything inside of it works, and it seems to run good. I did notice it has a little bit of a misfire. I kind of noticed that misfire the other day, but it is very low on gas, so, and it's probably old, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, I'm going to put some fresh gas in it and go from there. I think at the worst it would need you know, a coil pack or two. So yeah, let's just walk around and I'll show you what my plans are to make this thing look a bit more presentable. So first off, take a look at the engine bay. Here's some before and after pictures of it. It cleaned up excellent. I mean, it is in really good shape. That coolant reservoir usually on these are like really old brownish yellow in color, and they leak. They actually will leak down onto the crank sensor, at least on the ML320s, and cause random shutoffs and, you know, non-starting issues. But that one looks like it's in good shape, and not that that's an expensive part, but you know, one less thing we got to replace. The engine covers here cleaned up beautifully. I mean, this was just pressure washing. I didn't actually like wipe anything down, but very happy with the way this engine bay is looking. Got to get a lid for this washer fluid reservoir, probably just a whole new one. It's just really brittle, breaks easy. You know, I mentioned earlier the headlight trim was in the car. I installed that. I will need new fog lights. Those are not repairable. I mean, they're rusty on the inside. Headlights, we will wet sand and buff those. The body, so it's got, you know, really it needs probably an all-over paint job. I try my best not to do all-over paint jobs. They're a ton of work. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take pieces from an old bumper cover at the shop and panel bond them to this. I'm going to build this back up right here, or attempt to at least. I'm actually going to be using a Ford Ranger bumper cover, old one off a wrecked vehicle. Same thing back here. We'll just cut squares out, make some square patches for in there. You know, we'll remove this, take a flat disc, grind all this down to bare metal. None of this looks like the rust is all the way through, so it is repairable. You know, down here on the doors as well, it looks really bad, but under the paint that's peeling is solid metal. So my plan is to just flat disc from this line down, put some POR 15 or some equivalent rust converter, you know, rust inhibitor, and then, you know, a skim coat of body filler and paint it. So that's it for the exterior. It doesn't need anything else. There's not really any dents in it or pieces missing. So, you know, we got some clear coat peeling here, be repainted. But yeah, just go around, repair the rust, random pieces of rust. Look at this, like how does one rust right here? That's so odd. For the interior, I will actually be going tomorrow and getting some of the interior pieces I need. I need the low range and fog light switch that goes beside the radio. The cup holder, this one, it's all broken. Both of them are actually broken. These, you're supposed to press a button and it slowly opens up. I found out that the glove box does work. You just gotta finagle it a little bit. And there were some owner's manuals in there. We're gonna upgrade the stereo system. Found one on eBay I like. It's just like a cheap Chinese aftermarket one, but it's like 9 or 10 inches. It's gonna make it look a lot more updated, kind of similar to the one I put in my Power Stroke, and really update this interior. I'm gonna use an aftermarket amp because these have a fiber optic trigger here for the amp turn on, and that's not something that you can replicate. I think they make a box that like makes that turn into RCA wires or RCA cables, but I don't know. I've never used one before. Let me know in the comments if that's something you know about. But for now, I'm planning on, you know, an aftermarket doubled in, and the amplifier is on the driver's side over there under the dash, and I have a small kicker 4-channel amp that will go right in that factory location, and I can probably ohm it down to the factory, I think 2 ohms, and use the factory Bose speakers. This door does not open. There is a latch and cables in the back seat that I think are back there to fix this door. So it doesn't feel like it's in the handle. It doesn't open on the inside either. If that's not the issue, I know where a ton of parts are right down the street from me to fix that as well. I'm very confident that here in just a few weeks, I will have this thing looking good as new and roadworthy. So, you know, if you're not already subscribed and you want to see more on this build, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. As I have done many times, I promise to have a more consistent upload schedule of these videos. I'm having a little bit more time on my hands, at least for the time being, and I'll be able to. Also, now that the weather has broken, I want to get back on my Turbo E30 build. I literally just have to swap out the motor for it, and I haven't touched it in like 2 months, but it's coming. So, Car Studio, subscribe, turn on notifications, like this video, share with your boys or your girls. Stay tuned for more, guys. Thank you.